The British Prime Minister published a 6-point plan for dealing with the Ukraine crisis in the New York Times. According to Boris Johnson, Russian President Putin must fail with his act of aggression. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has called on the international community to increase pressure on Moscow over Russia's war in Ukraine. It's not enough to express our support for the rules-based international order. We must defend it against ongoing attempts to rewrite the rules through military force, Johnson argued in an op-ed for the New York Times. Vladimir Putin must fail with his act of aggression, he said. Well, he's only against it by fourth. I had to say that. With the essay for the newspaper, Johnson also presents a 6-point plan for dealing with the Ukraine crisis. The international community must come together in a humanitarian coalition for Ukraine and support the country in its efforts to defend itself. To do this, the economic pressure on the Kremlin must also be increased, and heads of state and government must oppose the creeping normalization of Russian actions in Ukraine. A diplomatic way to resolve the conflict is only possible with the full participation of the lawful government of Ukraine, Johnson said. In addition, the security and resilience of the Euro-Atlantic area must be strengthened. London met with several leaders from Monday to hold talks on Ukraine. Among them are Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the Dutch Prime Minister Marc Rutte, and representatives from neighboring Ukraine countries such as Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia. Meanwhile, France has accused Britain of a lack of humanity towards war refugees from Ukraine. You heard it from me before. In a letter to his British colleague Priti Patel, France's Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin complained that the British authorities were completely inappropriate in dealing with refugees who had arrived in Calais in northern France in the past few days and wanted to travel from there to their relatives in Great Britain. In the past few days, 400 Ukrainian refugees have presented themselves at border posts in Calais, Darmanin wrote. 150 of them were asked to go to Paris or Brussels to apply for visas to the United Kingdom at the British consulate there, so quite bureaucratic. It is incomprehensible that the United Kingdom is able to offer such services on the Polish-Ukrainian border, but not in its direct neighbor France. According to the UN, more than 1.5 million people have fled the country since Russia's war of aggression began in Ukraine. So far, 756,000 of them have been accepted by neighboring Poland. And businesses in Scotland are being urged to withdraw from trading with Russia following its invasion of Ukraine. Finance and Economy Secretary Kate Forbes has asked companies to take economic action by reviewing operations for links and connections to Russia and severing them. In an open letter to the business community, Ms. Forbes has outlined that the Scottish Government and its economic agencies will use all available powers not to support trade and investment activity with Russia. Support and advice will be offered to businesses as they adapt to removing links with Russia. The Scottish Government has committed to providing £4 million in financial aid and medical supplies to the Ukrainian government, of which £2 million will be allocated in the Disasters Emergency Appeal to provide essential help to those in need. The First Minister stressed that issues are with Putin's regime and not the people of Russia, nor the Russian and Belarusian community who live and work in Scotland. And I want to give one more small update. Yesterday, I talked about the pro-Putin trolls and their whataboutism in the comments below my videos. Some of them were very angry about this and had to tell me that they unsubscribed from my channel. So what? Subscriber numbers are no more important to me than my principles. And I would like to give you, the sensible people, a small, really great example. The German biathlete Eric Lesser had 30,000 Russian followers on Instagram. That's why he gave his channel to a Ukrainian biathlete for a day, so she can tell Russian followers the truth about the war firsthand, which the Russian government is keen to keep out of all media. And that lasts the whole day. Eric Lesser lost 10,000 followers who didn't want to hear that. But 20,000 others in Russia have received important information. And of course, it was worth it. And I see it exactly like Eric Lesser. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.